It's 11 p.m. The project is due tomorrow at 9 a.m. You've had 2 weeks to work on it. 2 weeks. And you're sitting here, staring at a blank document, heart pounding, palms sweating. You open another tab. Check Instagram. Scroll through TikTok. I'll start in 5 minutes, you tell yourself. You've been saying that for 6 hours. Finally, at 2 a.m., panic takes over. You start typing frantically. You finish at 6 a.m. It's garbage. You know it's garbage. You submit it anyway, exhausted and ashamed. And you swear, never again, next time I'll start early. But you won't. Because procrastination isn't about time management. It's about something much darker. Today, I'm going to show you the real reason you keep procrastinating. And I promise, you'll hate what you discover. Let's go. Chapter 1. The fear you won't admit. Meet Sarah. She's 28. Marketing manager. Smart. Capable. She's been putting off writing her performance review for 3 weeks. It's a simple task. 1 hour, max. But every time she opens the document, her chest tightens. Her mind goes blank. So she closes it. I'll do it later. Here's what Sarah won't admit to herself. She's not procrastinating because she's lazy. She's procrastinating because she's terrified. If she writes that review and her boss still doesn't promote her, she'll have to face the truth. That she's not as valuable as she thinks. That she's stuck. That she's falling behind. As long as she doesn't write it, those possibilities remain hypothetical. Psychologist Dr. Timothy Pitchell studies procrastination at Carleton University. He found that procrastination is not about poor time management. It's about emotion regulation. You're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the feeling the task triggers. For Sarah, that feeling is inadequacy. The performance review forces her to evaluate herself, to confront her career stagnation. So her brain protects her by making her procrastinate. She tells herself she's just not in the right headspace, but the truth? She's terrified of what she'll discover about herself. And avoidance feels safer than honesty. Chapter 2. The perfectionism trap. Let's talk about the people who procrastinate the most. It's not the lazy ones. It's the perfectionists. Meet David. He's a graphic designer. Talented. His portfolio is impressive. But he's been working on the same freelance project for 3 months. It should have taken 2 weeks. Every time he finishes a design, he hates it. It's not good enough. The client will be disappointed. So he starts over. Again. And again. Meanwhile, the deadline has passed. The client is furious. David feels sick with shame. But he still can't submit the work. Because in his mind, submitting imperfect work is worse than submitting nothing. Psychologist Thomas Greenspan writes about this in his research on perfectionism. He found that perfectionists procrastinate because they're afraid of being judged. If you never finish, you never fail. Your potential remains intact. Your self-image stays protected. David tells himself, I'm not a failure, I just haven't finished yet. But finishing means being evaluated, criticized, potentially rejected. And that's unbearable. So he procrastinates, revises, delays. And the project becomes a prison. He's trapped between the fear of submitting and the shame of not submitting. Eventually, the client cancels the project. David feels relief. Then devastation. Because deep down, he knows the truth. He sabotaged himself. On purpose. To avoid the risk of trying his best and still not being good enough. Chapter 3. The comfort of chaos. Here's something nobody talks about. Some people procrastinate because they're addicted to the crisis. Meet Jennifer. She's 32. Works in finance. Always behind on everything. Bills. Emails. Reports. Laundry. Her life is constant chaos. And when you ask her why she doesn't just stay on top of things, she says, "I work better under pressure," but that's not true. The truth? Jennifer is addicted to the adrenaline. Psychologist Dr. Joseph Ferrari researched this in his book, Still Procrastinating. He found that some people procrastinate to create artificial urgency. Because urgency feels like productivity. When Jennifer finally starts that report at midnight, her brain floods with stress hormones. Cortisol. Adrenaline. Fight or flight activation. And suddenly, she feels alive. Focused. Important. The chaos makes her feel needed. Busy. Like she's fighting fires. But here's the cost. She's exhausted. Her work is mediocre. Her relationships suffer. She cancels plans because she's too busy, but she's not busy. She's procrastinating until things become emergencies. Because emergencies justify her existence. I'm not lazy, I'm just overwhelmed, but she created the overwhelm. Deliberately. Because a calm, organized life feels boring. Empty. Purposeless. The crisis is her identity. And letting it go means facing the terrifying question. Who am I without the chaos? Chapter 4. The rebellion you don't see. Here's the darkest reason. Sometimes, procrastination is passive-aggressive rebellion. Meet Marcus. He's 26. Still living with his parents. Unemployed. His dad keeps nagging him. Send out job applications. Update your resume. Marcus agrees. Yeah, I will, but he doesn't. Days turn into weeks. Weeks into months. His dad gets angrier. Marcus feels worse. But he still doesn't apply. Why? Psychologist Dr. Linda Sopadin calls this defiant procrastination. It's a way of maintaining control when you feel powerless. Marcus's dad controls the house. The rules. The expectations. But Marcus controls one thing, his own time. By procrastinating, he's saying, "You can't make me," even though it hurts him more than anyone else. This happens in relationships too. Your partner asks you to do something. You agree. Then you don't do it. Not because you forgot. Because saying yes but not doing it is a form of saying no. You're punishing them. Asserting autonomy. I'll do it on my timeline, not yours. But the cost is guilt. Shame. Broken trust. Marcus knows he's sabotaging his future. But the small satisfaction of defying his father feels worth it. Until it doesn't. Chapter 5. The brutal truth. So why do you keep procrastinating? Not because you're lazy. Not because you lack discipline. Because you're protecting yourself. From failure. From judgment. From boredom. From control. Procrastination is your brain's defense mechanism. And understanding that changes everything. You can't just try harder, because willpower doesn't fix emotional avoidance. You have to ask, what am I really afraid of? What feeling am I trying to avoid? For Sarah, it's inadequacy. For David, it's judgment. For Jennifer, it's purposelessness. For Marcus, it's powerlessness. Once you identify the fear, you can address it. Not by pushing through, but by facing it directly. Sarah needs to accept that her career might not go as planned. And that she'll survive anyway. David needs to accept that his work will never be perfect. And that's okay. Jennifer needs to find meaning outside of crisis, in the boring, steady work. Marcus needs to reclaim control in healthier ways, by making choices, not avoiding them. Procrastination isn't the problem. It's the symptom. And symptoms don't go away until you treat the underlying wound. Here's what I need you to understand. You keep procrastinating because you're human. Because avoiding pain is easier than confronting it. Because the task isn't really the task. It's what the task represents. Failure, judgment, exposure, loss of control. So stop beating yourself up for procrastinating. And start asking, what am I really afraid of? Once you answer that question, you can finally address it. Not by forcing yourself to work harder, but by understanding why you're avoiding the work in the first place. So tell me, what do you procrastinate on the most? And what fear do you think is hiding underneath? Drop a comment. What did you think of this video? If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing, and take a look at what we're exploring next.